everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So I would guess that Luc Besson used much less than 10% of his brain capacity when he cooked up this little insanity that we're going to take a look at today. I would put it more in the ballpark of 0.0625% or something like that, because holy shit, this is a silly, stupid, insane movie. That, however, doesn't make it a bad movie. But in the hands of a more capable storyteller like a Darren Aronofsky, or a Christopher Nolan, or a Guillermo del Toro, or a Denis Villeneuve, my god, we could have had a modern classic. Now we have a modern, laughable classic to figure out. Let's see what this insanity is about, shall we? This is Lucy. Lucy is some kind of a student that lives in Taiwan for reasons that will remain unclear to the end of this movie. She is the girlfriend of Richard, who is an idiot and an asshole, who tricks her into delivering a suitcase to a hotel. It's some kind of a sort of shady business deal. She goes along with this after some, well, rather terrible dialogue with spliced in images of predators that is hunting prey and stuff like that. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But the operation is a complete bust, and she's sort of kidnapped by these guys that turns her into a drug mule for a new and exciting drug that she's, you know, hidden inside of her. But she's then kidnapped by some other people led by this guy who looks like the Asian version of Stansfield from Leon. And she's then beaten for some reason, and the condom of drugs is cracked inside of her, and the drug leaks into her system. Now this drug is apparently a substance that makes you be able to access part of your brain that you cannot access in normal cases. It is the classical misconception of that you can only access 10% of your brain at the same time, you dumb fuck. And now when Scarlett Johansson begins to be able to tap into parts of her brain she couldn't tap into before, she essentially becomes a god, being able to control, electronics and technology, learning different languages, changing the color of her hair and, the color of her eyes and stuff like that. She has unlimited powers, and they just keeps growing and growing and growing. What will happen when she reaches that 100%? We shall see. She escapes from, the drug guys and contacts a scientist played by Morgan Freeman. Good casting decision, because his voice can make even the dumbest and least scientific dialogue you've ever heard sound kind of plausible. Good work there, casting guys. But Mr. Yang, he wants his escaped drug mule back, so he sets after her. Quick question, Mr. Yang. The first encounter you had with Lucy, you had like 10, 12 guys, and she basically cleaned her teeth with all of you guys and, just killed everybody. Now, when you're doing this again, you have, what, 25 guys? You think she's not gonna clean her teeth with them too? Well, I have to give you an A for effort, but that's dumb. One of the upsides this movie had was the fact that I had no idea where they were going, and I had no idea how it was going to end. And the longer they went, the more I feared that they were going to do a cop-out. Spoiler, they did not do a cop-out. Instead, they filled it with excitement and entertainment and a very exciting car chase through Paris. Some very, very creative action sequences and some very trippy moments, which reminded me more about, the Tree of Life and Terrence Malick and stuff like that. In fact, the pitch for this movie, I bet, was, well, it's like Tree of Life with rocket launchers. Because that's what a movie like Tree of Life needs. Rocket launchers. Should you see this movie? The answer is yes. It's a very fast-paced, very entertaining movie that looks like nothing else I've ever seen. When he goes into this Stanley Kubrick-esque part with absolutely no dialogue, which is so freaking out there, I was like, this movie is kind of unique and it's kind of awesome. I don't care the fact that Scarlett Johansson is kind of wooden and not that interesting in this movie. I don't care the fact that all the dialogue in this movie is so stupid and the entire story is complete insane. I just care about that this movie was very fun and very entertaining and was over in just over 90 minutes. If this movie would have been done, you know, by anybody else, I would bet that this movie would have stretched out into 2.5 hours or something like that. And it wouldn't have had as trippy bullshit as this movie had. And it wouldn't have been this fun, stupid insanity that it had. And it probably would have ended with some sort of a weird cop-out. This movie is a dumb movie that thinks that it is smart. And it's kind of fun to see it. Despite the sort of reoccurring trope of Luc Besson of having skinny bitch with attitude as your main protagonist, this does not feel in any way like a classic Luc Besson movie. It doesn't look like it doesn't feel like it, and it isn't structured like it. But I'm very fond of it. This is a chaotic car crash of a movie that you can't quite look away from. You know that it isn't necessarily good, but you can't really find anything that makes you hate it. You just see more stuff that is unique, and you see more stuff that you haven't seen before, and it asks stupid questions that it pretends to have the answer for, and you kind of, yeah, I can get on board with this. The movie is big and it is spectacular, and if you're going into this thinking that this is going to be some kind of a superhero movie or something like that, it isn't. At its core, this is a misguided attempt at having a psychological and philosophical art house movie combined with superhero and action movie cliches into it. If that seems to be your cup of tea, I see no reason why you shouldn't love this movie. It is a movie that is weighed down severely by its stupidity and the missed opportunity, but it is also kind of what makes this movie entertaining and, well, one of a kind. In fairness, I could have gone for either having more action or having more philosophical discussions and more trippy bullshit, but the mix is totally okay. Lucy gets 67 points. It is a movie that you won't forget, even though it is very dumb. It's not one of Morgan Freeman's better performances, but it is totally fine. And I like the ending, despite it being, oh Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this? How do you view Lucy? Is it a good movie? Is it a bad movie? Or is it a dumb movie? I'll see you next time for, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.